the first one, I went like ghost white and was like, I think I need a minute before we start the next one. And then like my roommate brought over like a wet paper towel and was like, here, you want to like dab this on your forehead? And like I did it like on my forehead and the back of my neck, and like immediately all the color came back and was like, all right, let's do the other one. The other one didn't hurt nearly as much. Like I was fine after the other one. The first one, my mind, I think, was just like trying to comprehend the pain that I was experiencing, and I almost like fucking passed out.
Oh god. Hey everybody. Welcome to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. You're not going to get any context as to what Andrew was just talking about. I'm the Law Morris, and joining me, as per usual, the effervescent Andrew Etchin.
Hello.
And returning once again, Tim Miller.
Oh, hi.
You're listening to number 77, the one where we talk about the video game trends that we would like to see make a comeback in 2019. Baby, come back. We have a lot to get to tonight. We have a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to jump right in. Andrew, tell me what you've been playing.
Subnautica. I'm almost done with the game. I'm like 2/3 of the way through, so I'm nearing the end, but we'll see when I actually finish it. I still really love that game, and I know in like a few months they are coming out with a DLC.
So you're going to
below
buy it.
zero. So I'm pretty sure it's actually free. It's like an update for the game, so I'm really excited for that. I think that'll be a cool thing. But if the pace that I'm playing the game now continues, I will just only play Subnautica. That'll just like be the game I play. So I haven't looked on the store in a long time to see like what kind of cool shit there is, like new stuff there is. I'm just waiting on Resident Evil 2. That's really what I'm waiting on.
Next week, baby. Next week.
Have you played Celeste yet? Because it's on Xbox Live.
It's free on Xbox, Andrew.
I haven't.
Check it out.
It's free on Xbox. Oh, okay.
Andrew's not going to buy an Xbox.
Not to play that game of all games.
You might have to buy an Xbox next generation, though, Andrew, because that might be the way this group heads.
We'll see.
Well, that'll be depressing.
I mean, I'm sure that we'll all buy.
We're like,
both.
oh, they all devolved into a bunch of Neanderthals.
If only Pokemon.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Yeah, you knuckle draggers. No,
I'm sure that we'll all buy both. It's just like right now, how we primarily play PlayStation. I mean, there's still a lot left to be said about the next gen consoles before we make a decision, but I hope that I want the group to stay open-minded because that's pro-consumer.
For me, I'm just sort of like, man, I have a PlayStation and I have the Switch. I haven't played my Switch in a minute. I have Super Smash Brothers, and I've like barely played that game. I like played it a ton for like 2 weeks, and then I just like nobody plays it with me. Like I like kind of do. I somewhat miss like some of my old houses where like all the guys in the house were just like so into it. Where like we'd get home from work and everyone would be like, "Fucking Smash for who cleans the dishes." Like,
exactly.
It was the decision maker. It was like the decision maker, the pre-game, the post-game game, like everything game. It was the only game in our household.
I'd never have to do dishes again.
Yeah,
damn, that sounds awesome.
Tim's like, Andrew, what's up? Want to live together? Yeah, God, it's like we all miss those days of like, just, living with the guys and like, damn, Tim, is that your second ice cream sandwich, guy?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Tim, tell me what you've been playing this week.
So I played through Banjo-Kazooie like I said I would.
The
It was
first one?
awesome. Yep.
Oh, I missed that game.
You can play
Awesome
it
as
on Xbox.
always.
It's on Game Pass.
I love Banjo-Kazooie.
And I've also started playing Metroid Prime Randomizer. Like I told you last week about the link to the
Randomizer.
past one. It actually is one for Metroid Prime, so I've been sticking my teeth into that and learning a couple tricks. It's been interesting.
Wow.
Cool.
Metroid
I
Prime
bet that's
Randomizer.
really hard because,
I bet
God,
that's
Metroid
really
even linearly
fucking
is
hard.
like fucking impossible.
You have to know pretty much every single secret where you can get things at certain times. It's absolutely terrible. I haven't even finished a seed yet. It's god awful.
I don't know
But
why
it's
you would
fun.
subject yourself to that. All right, are you playing that on an emulator?
Yep.
Dolphin?
Yep.
Nice.
Best way to play. Well, I mean, unless I could get something for my actual GameCube, but I don't think they make such a thing.
That's right. And I actually played through
an ice cream
Detroit.
sandwich.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching him eat them. I'm so jealous. So jealous.
It looks so fucking good.
I played Detroit this week, and it was okay.
It's a heavy rain game.
Yeah, it's David
You
Cage.
play a movie. That's pretty much all it is.
I still haven't touched it.
Yeah, I haven't touched it yet.
I mean, I would recommend playing through it once if you have access to it. Tim, do you have access through Ben?
I might. I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
I know he bought it, but
I know the
I'm
game just
not
has
sure if you
so
bought it
many
digitally,
out,
but I'll take a look.
Like, it's definitely worth. Like, I mean,
It's
you
worth
could play the
one
game
playthrough.
15 times, you'd have a different ending.
yeah. So I mean, there are three main characters that you play as, and three kind of different sub stories. And the first, Marcus, I really didn't like. All right,
Was he the normal android you see from all the trailers?
no,
That's Connor, I think.
That's Connor. So I'll actually go in the other direction. I liked Kara's story the best. Kara was really cool, and her story was awesome, and I was super invested in it, and there were so many really tense moments where my hands were sweating, and I was just
Yeah, I know. I've seen a little bit of hers with an abusive dad, and
Yeah.
she's sort of family robot.
Yeah. So Kara's story was really good. Connor's story was okay, but that's my fault because I just wasn't willing to do certain things with Connor. But his story has the potential to be really great. And then Marcus's story has all the subtlety of a brick to the face. It was real dumb. In one of the opening scenes, Marcus goes to the bus stop to get on the bus, and the bus pulls up, and there is a labeled Android compartment at the back of the bus. And his whole story is about Android rights. And I was just this is just super, I don't know, this is just a bunch of lefty sucking their own dicks. But whatever. But yeah, I would say play through it once. It was cool. Kara's story was awesome. So that takes us, Andrew, to the news in 5.
It's the news in 5. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Nice.
I guess I'm the only one doing it. News in 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. News in 5.
And Tim was just jumping in there like a little bit of a jazz flute. So news in 5. Dan Trachtenberg of 10 Cloverfield Lane fame has joined the Uncharted movie as a director. Now, the Uncharted movie has been in development hell since 2008. So it's been a while. They've had a lot of big names attached to it. In fact, much bigger than Dan Trachtenberg, including Mark Wahlberg, Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, David O. Russell, and Avi Arad. In various capacities have been attached to this movie. It hasn't come to fruition yet. Do we think that this is the guy that's going to make it finally happen?
Nope. That movie's never happening. At
Andrew.
this point.
Andrew, what do you think?
I couldn't give two shits. It's a video game movie. They literally are always terrible.
Yeah, I'm with you. They're they're terrible.
They're bad. They're always fucking terrible.
The Super Mario Brothers movie was awesome.
The Super Mario Brothers movie is terrible, Tim.
It's a goddamn heresy. It's like blasphemy in digital form.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm actually with you. Except I could give two shits in the other direction because I want this movie to never get made. Because
it's just bad. Why? You'd have to make a whole story just for the movie, and it would have to be done with just the rarest little itty bitty little bits of Nathan Drake isms. If they tried to make a
Just
Uncharted
shot for shot.
1 movie, it would be fucking terrible. And it would just
Yeah.
be like, oh, it would just be so bad. It's like Indiana. Honestly, it would be like The Mummy.
Hey man, Mummy
It would be
1
like
and 2 were good.
It would be like taking Indiana Jones, like something
Crystal
like that,
sculling it all over again.
and just crystal sculling all over it.
Just gonna crystal all
You're
over
just
that
like, you know
skull.
what? You took something beautiful and you made it ugly.
Yeah, that's true. That's my biggest point about it is like the Uncharted games are great. 1 is really, really fantastic. 2 is really great. 3 is the best one. 4 is pretty good. And like Golden Abyss, fantastic. And then, you know, Lost Legacy was okay. But why make them movies? Like, why turn those into movies?
Why? Like, it's just unnecessary.
They're fantastic as they are. Leave them alone.
Like, honestly, you could take the newest one and just take all the gameplay out of it.
Yep.
And just have all the cinematics cut together,
Make a
and
cool
I'd
movie.
watch that as a movie. That's way better. Like having the CGI, like having the movie be like that, I could actually get into it if it was like more of like an animated movie.
Like what's that Final Fantasy movie called? Advent Children.
Advent Children.
Oh,
that movie
God.
is great.
That was such
That
a
movie is
shitty
great.
movie.
That movie is great.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
you
it's
dare
pretty good.
talk that movie.
Yeah, I loved that movie because that's Final Fantasy VII. Like, and Final Fantasy VII is weird, but if you
Fight with
played the
Cloud,
game,
except
you
I'll
like
just-
you'll know exactly what's happening. And yeah, and literally, I like that movie
God.
literally just for the scene of Cloud fighting Sephiroth and using the Omni Slash on him. Like,
I got you two
So-
started on something stupid. Advent Children. And now I think that movie is actually going to have to be seen on our other podcast.
I will defend it to the end.
Nope. So.
one weird movie was the Final Fantasy Spirit Within movie. That was a weird movie.
Oh yeah,
but
that,
also kind of cool.
that was a pretty bad movie too. Spirits Within. That's the one that I saw. I didn't see Advent Children.
That's the one that literally has no correlation to any Final
It's
Fantasy
insane.
at all.
It's so weird.
It's literally just Final Fantasy is the title they stapled onto it for like a future movie.
Oh, Tim has it. All right, and Rocket League, the game that made the initial huge push for cross-platform play, has become the second game to join the PS4 cross-play beta.
That's cool.
So-
Booyah!
Everyone, Rocket League is the game that brought us all together. Rocket League is the one that, like, everyone wanted cross-platform play, but Rocket League is the one that did it, like, that was like, you know, we're gonna push hard for this, and they had the position to do it because it was a wildly successful game on every platform it was released on.
I mean, did you ever play the original? It was like super mega rocket powered like battle car or something like that.
I didn't play it, but I saw it for sale on one of the PSN flash sales one time for $3, so I bought it. And I've bought that game. I bought the original on PS3. I have bought that game. I got it free on PS4. I bought it on Xbox. I bought it on Switch, and I bought the physical copy on PS4. So I love Rocket League. It's great. Do you guys think that this is going to start being more common? Like, what do you guys think is going to be next for PS4 crossplay? Because first it was Fortnite, then it was Rocket League.
I mean, I'd be tempted to say possibly, like Smite, possibly. Neverwinter.
An online
Warframe.
like RPG. Yeah,
Warframe.
Warframe actually.
That's
I could
a good
definitely
guess.
see that. I love Warframe. I've played a ton of Warframe. Yeah.
That
I
doesn't
played
surprise
Warframe
me at all.
on Steam when it first came out. When it was like in beta, I played
Yep,
it.
I did
Really liked it and like loved it and like kept playing. And I was so pissed off that I missed the account migration to PS4. I like fucking just missed it. And but my PS4 character is now substantially stronger than my PC character. So I
How's
haven't
your
played it
Switch
again in a
character
long
doing?
time. They have it on Switch?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that.
I've been playing it off and on, so
That game is super fun.
I could totally see Warframe doing it. That's a really good answer. I hadn't thought of that. The ones that jumped to mind for me were Call of Duty and possibly like FIFA.
I feel like Warframe is like I think that's like definitely what it would be, because Warframe is like right in that same realm of like popular sort of like pop culture, like
it's like a gamer's game,
indie-ish games. Like Fortnite isn't like an indie game by any means, but there was something like not quite mainstream about it while still being like very main. It's a very specific like sect of gaming.
It appeals to the it's a gamer's game. It's not like I mean, Call of Duty and I mean, not to say Fortnite isn't mainstream, because Fortnite is arguably the most mainstream game ever. But like Call of Duty and FIFA are super mainstream. They're like bro games, right? Whereas Fortnite still has some air.
Fortnite has like a specific player base. Right. There's like people that play Fortnite. There's people that play Rocket League. There's like a world that play like just Warframe, and like God, the Warframe subreddit is a fucking wacky world.
I'm quite toxic lately, though.
Yeah,
you're much more like into video games if you're playing like Warframe or Rocket League or even Fortnite than you are if you're playing like FIFA or Call of Duty.
Yeah, they're much more casual games. Like anyone can jump into those two and just enjoy a round.
Exactly. Speaking of, Andrew, are you still playing Call of Duty?
A little. I haven't played in a long time, but I saw an update came out.
I might want to jump into some Blackout this weekend, so if you're down.
Yeah, I have Monday off.
Same.
I could play some Call of Duty. I haven't played COD in a hot second.
Let's play some Blackout.
I have literally never gotten very far in that.
Oh, I did really well my very first time.
I mean, I always place in the top 10, but I won't kill anybody. I just
my very first time, I think I killed like 3 people and I got 4th, and it was interesting. But we'll play doubles. So, also, the Animal Crossing grandma got a Nintendo Switch. In December of last year, a Reddit user posted about how his grandmother has played Animal Crossing New Leaf almost daily since release. And when doing a system transfer after her 3DS finally bit the dust, he just checked on her save and discovered she had over 3,500 hours in Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Wow.
I heard about this.
So, it got pretty popular on Reddit, and then the Nintendo Switch subreddit community got together and pooled a bunch of money in anticipation of the new Animal Crossing game coming out in 2019. They bought her a Nintendo Switch.
It's cool. Yeah, that's super sweet.
Pretty awesome.
I've never really played Animal Crossing. I like Stardew Valley, but never played Animal Crossing.
I haven't either. It's a wholesome news story, but it's a slow news week. So, what are you going to
do? It's a slow news week. I picked from what I have.
Exactly. And
I don't know. There's busy shit's going on this week.
Nintendo may hit their 20 million Switch goal after all. So last spring, Nintendo set a pretty lofty goal for themselves, predicting they would be able to sell 20 million Nintendo Switch units in fiscal year 2018. After a pretty strong holiday showing for Q3 of 2018, Nintendo sold 10 million Switches in Q3. So,
God damn, insane.
That's to put that in perspective.
Well, they're fucking awesome, so I understand.
In 5.5 years, Sony has sold 90 million PS4s, and it is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. In 3 months, Nintendo sold 10 million Switches.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Got 10% of the way there, practically, for like...
Back on the rise.
With like less than half of a year.
In 3 months, in their second holiday season. Like, that's fucking unbelievable.
In a quarter
Well, it
of a
makes
year.
sense. They have so many good games out for the system. Odyssey, Zelda, and Smash Bros. Alone are worth getting this.
Are worth
the Switch
getting
for.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even for people like, my God, like buying it for kids.
For
I grew up
Pokemon.
with a Game Boy,
Yep.
and
That's
the
the
Switch
thing.
is basically like the modern day Mega Game Boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
People are playing they're buying multiple Switches for a home. They're putting multiple Switches in a home, which doesn't really happen that often with other consoles. I mean,
hey, you buy one dock, two docks,
you're set. You're made in the shade. You buy
you
buy each kid a Switch.
yeah, and you
Boom.
let them swap out. You can parental control them. I love it. You can even put Hulu on them
That's
if
right.
you want to watch TV.
And YouTube now.
When we were kids, my sister and I had one N64.
I remember having to jerry rig my PSP so I could watch shit online.
When we were kids, my sister and I had one PS4, but we both had a Game Boy. And that's kind of the role that the Switch is falling into, and it's
Yeah, I
working
love
out well.
Fucking
You
love
and your sister had a PS4 when you were kids?
Or
Is
when
that
we
what
were
it
kids,
is?
we had one N64. And I mean, the consoles were always mine, but like my sister and I played them together. So, but yeah, I mean, that was a big 3 months, and it kind of looks like they are going to sell 20 million in fiscal 2018. They have 3 months left.
Because they just keep getting more and more and more popular.
I know they're on
They
the
just
rise.
keep getting better. Like, my God, the cooler like Joy-Cons that come out. Like, I really want to get myself a couple of like clear like N64 style
Atomic
like
purple is what I want.
atomic. Like, I want atomic blue and atomic green.
Yeah, jungle green is what that was called. I have a jungle green N64. It's sweet.
Ice blue.
But so I did have a question for you guys about this, because Switch is headed into year 3, and the hardware was underpowered on day 1. But that's never really been their play with the Switch. But year 3 is kind of looking like it's going to be a little bit rough for games, except Pokemon at the end of the year. So do you guys think that we're going to get like an iteration of the Switch this year? Are we going to get Switch Pro? Are we going to get like Switch Mini?
I don't
Switch
expect
Mini sounds ridiculous.
I don't expect another iteration of the Switch until at least next year. Nintendo usually doesn't until 3 or 4 years in, towards the end of the life cycle.
Yeah,
So-
and it's like already doing
It's
it's
killing
like
it.
covers everything you could
Yeah.
ever need. I'm like, it's a handheld. You can detach the controllers and lean it up. It has a touch screen. Like, god damn. I still think Okami on the Switch is like fucking flawless.
Have you bought it yet?
Oh, of course. I
Of
bought it
course.
and beat it in like 2 or 3 days because I was like,
That's a
it was
long fucking game.
because I knew. Well, I've played it now like 5 times, so I knew like exactly where I was going. But the motion controls on that game are just like they're like absolutely like the Switch was good. I mean the Wii was good. The Switch is like flawless, like completely perfect. Like that game is absolutely perfect on the Switch. I don't understand. I don't think it could ever be better on like any other console.
Well, that's quite the statement, especially
But I
for
digress.
such a beloved game. You know, I personally like there's a lot of people talking about like a Switch Pro. But I would rather see a Switch Mini. I would like to see, because I miss the clamshell design of my DS.
Like being able to like put it together and like put it in your pocket without fear of your screen getting scratched.
Yeah, even if it was a handheld only, like even if it couldn't dock, I would love to have a Switch that I could just close up and toss in my pocket. Even if it had like a smaller screen, handheld only, no Joy-Cons, just close it up, put it in my pocket. That would be awesome.
Yeah, just have the controllers folded on the side on the top of the screen. It would be excellent.
Yeah, I mean, even just pack the Switch into the body of a 2DS XL, and I would buy that. And I would even continue to pay for the Nintendo online service for cloud saves, And then I would have my Switch be my like at-home Switch, and I would have my Switch Mini be like the Switch that I take with me.
Yeah. I could definitely see that being a perk. I mean,
it is definitely, that's sort of the thing. Like, I grew up originally, my brother, I remember getting a Sega Game Gear.
I was about to say, don't fucking say Game Gear, Jesus.
Which was pretty much the same size as a Switch. It's like about the same like mass.
With a 1.9-inch screen.
They're actually thick.
It takes 12 batteries.
Exactly, and they run out in 45 minutes.
Yeah, but like this, I remember that, and that's the one thing is the Switch is really nice, but it's still kind of big. Like you put it in that little carrying case, it's carryable, it's comfortable, you can slide it into your backpack, but it's still not like
your pocket.
Yeah, you can't fold it up and put it in your pocket unless you got like some crazy like cargo pants on.
Which is where the DS and the DS and 3DS line stands out. Is I have no like in my like everyday carry bag, my 2DS lives in there, but I don't take my Switch with me every day, but my DS does. My DS goes with me every day. So I wish that I could have my Switch in that form factor.
I need to start just packing my Switch and putting it in my bag every single day when I go to work. Because often I hear coworkers talking shit about Super Smash, and I'm like, sounds like somebody needs to spar with me.
I'll smash you at lunch, bitch. Oh, please don't. Oh my god,
lunch,
please.
Bitch.
Please don't talk to HR about this.
You're
oh
like,
my god, I am so
destroy
sorry.
you. They're like, what are they talking about? Super Smash. What are you talking about? Like, ain't nobody trying to fucking hear. This is about domination.
When your girl asks you to smash, but she means sex instead of Super Smash Brothers.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Get out of here, bitch.
Terrible.
So give me one second.
Who's on top?
Anyways, you mentioned games for the Switch coming out this year, and I can already think of a couple of big titles that I know quite a few people would probably pick up, including Bayonetta 3 and that new Yoshi game that are coming out. You said we have Pokemon at the end of the year as well.
Is Bayonetta confirmed to be coming this year?
As far as I know.
I never played Bayonetta. I would like to.
I think you would probably like it.
I love
pretty
Devil
fun.
May Cry. I'm super excited for DMC 6.
Yeah.
5.
5? Oh, well, whatever. Same thing.
All
It's
right.
just more of the
6.
same awesomeness.
It's only one apart.
But that's going to take us to the topic of the show.
It's the topic of the show. Of the show.
Topic of the show.
Topic
of the show.
I love that
Do
gives
you know the way? Because we know the topic of the show.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Ugandan Knuckles.
Ugandan topic of the show.
So, topic of the
We'll show you the
show
way.
is Baby Comeback. Trends we want to make a comeback in 2019. Now, whether this be a franchise that's gone dark, a feature or genre that used to be popular, or something totally out of left field like Blockbuster, we're going to be discussing things that we want to come back in 2019 with regards to video games. So,
I have a weird one.
you have a weird one. Andrew, let's start with your weird one.
You know what I would weirdly like to see come back?
What?
That was so briefly lived on the PS3 is use of the motion controls in the controller.
I actually totally agree with you.
I remember getting Killzone, I think 3 on the PS3, and they had like simple stuff like you'd go up to like turn a valve and you had to hold 2 buttons and turn the controller and like do that.
That's
I
fucking
liked that
cool.
stuff. I
That's
thought it was
cool
cool.
stuff.
And then after like 2 months they were like, nope, no game has them ever again.
Yeah. And what was that
Like-
Factor 5 game, Lair? Was so dependent on the 6-axis when it
Yeah,
launched.
like I would love that. I think that shit's cool. It makes it like adds a little bit of interactivity, or at the very least, use the friggin' touchpad for something. Like use it for
Use the
to
menus.
like draw or like something. I don't
Use
know.
it
Like
for menus. Like, why the
Yeah.
fuck isn't like Destiny uses a fucking joystick to move a cursor around the screen on a controller that has a goddamn touchpad?
that has a touchpad.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Like, I would love that. I think that would be cool. I would like to see that return.
Uncharted have some sort of motion control with the grenades?
In the
To throw them
first one.
back.
Yeah.
I remember you had to like shake it, and he would like
Yeah.
Yeah,
throw
and I'm
them
actually
back at people.
Andrew, I'm totally with you. And like, I think that's like that. It's been proven that works because look at
like
Breath of the
games that
Wild.
are like dependent on it.
Doesn't work.
But games where it just like uses it in like
Just
little
very
moments of
subtly.
like puzzle solving, or don't even use it in like gameplay, like throwing grenades. I'm talking like puzzle solving stuff, like utility things. I remember playing fucking Metroid on the Wii, and I remember the very first scene is you in your spaceship and you have to use the controllers to like turn valves and like open your like power cell thing and like accelerate. And I played that one little sequence like 15 times just because I really enjoyed like powering up the ship. And I was like, man, I hope they like
That's
fucking do this
fucking
like
cool,
the whole game.
right?
And they didn't.
And they shut it down.
But they shut it down.
I think that like if you take a look at like Breath of the Wild. So Breath of the Wild, whenever I was shooting the bow, I would use the joystick to get close, and then I would use the gyro aiming for precision. And like it feels good even playing with the Pro controller. In fact, especially playing with the Pro controller, it feels really good, and it's like I feel like it's more precise. I feel like I'm a better aim with the gyro than I am with a joystick. And like, why the fuck hasn't Call of Duty put that on sniping yet? Like,
Because that would make people too good at the game.
it's so the mouse and keyboard. Everyone has mouse and keyboard on PC. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you got to get a mouse and keyboard on your PS4.
On your Xbox, actually, Xbox supports mouse and keyboard natively now.
And then people go, how are they so good? And you're like, I don't know.
Now you actually get sorted into your own lobbies. So Fortnite on Xbox One sorts people into lobbies based on the peripherals that they're using, and controller players can
that's
opt
probably
into playing with
good
mouse and
thing.
keyboard players, but they're kept in their own little space if they don't want to play against people that are just
They're like, you're
whack
like a
them
little
with mouse and
elitist
keyboard.
cluster.
See, that's when you go into a controller area and then just quickly plug in your keyboard and start doing that.
God, that would be such
Yeah.
a dick move.
Oh
I
no,
wonder
I'm
if that
right.
would
I'm
work.
totally with you there. Especially a game like Fortnite where I just get
Oh,
my
yeah.
ass handed to me all the time. I'm like, you know what? I could use a win.
I'm going to play mouse and keyboard. Fuck all you 12-year-olds.
Kids. Yeah. Like,
Fuck those 12-year-olds. They wouldn't have
I can't
survived
wait
in an
to
old Call
ruin
of Duty
someone's
lobby.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm completely on board.
I think that that's actually a really cool idea, Andrew. And that is something that I would totally love to see come back. Like, use the fucking motion controllers because it's in there and it works.
It's in there, and they literally don't use them for anything. There's like no games where I've ever seen like shake the controller or turn it this way or like what.
Until
There's like
Dawn.
so few games. Okay,
Until
let's
Dawn
just
did it really
mention
well
that.
with like hold the controller really still. And like we
And I
had like 3 people
cheerleader
die
killed
at the
the
very
very
end.
I lost everybody in that last scene. I
I
don't
was
even
so
want to talk
pissed.
about it.
Very last moment of that game. I don't know what happened. I moved or something, and the hot blonde chick got killed. And she was the one person I wanted to
Not
live.
Sam.
The cheerleader saved the world, and I didn't. She died, and everyone fucking died.
So I played that game with my friend Billy, and he's sitting there holding the controller. And every single one that I had done, I had passed, and every single one that he had done, he had failed all night. And he's holding the controller,
no.
and it moves, and like, you know, it blows up, and like 3 of our people die, and he immediately just yells, and it's like 2 a.m., and I live in an apartment. There are people around us, and he's just, I didn't fucking move! I didn't move! Just screaming about it. And like to this day, he's pissed about that. He'll tell you he didn't move, but he totally did.
You're like, controller says otherwise.
Yeah, like, Billy, you got to anchor it to your leg, dude. That'll hold it still. Like,
Put it down on a table.
yeah,
No, because it vibrates.
it vibrates.
If you put it on a table, it goes off because it's like.
Yeah,
On
you gotta
the
like
time.
anchor one hand to your leg and just hold it there. But yeah, so I'm totally with you, Andrew. I think that those are like, a lot of people look at it as gimmicky, but I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's like a little thing that just kind of uses. It just sort of takes you out of like the buttons for a second and just gets you to like do a little something
Just
different.
a little something.
I don't think it's I don't think it used in the right way. It's not gimmicky at all.
Yeah,
But
I
used
totally agree.
too much, it can be like a huge pain in the butt.
Uncharted
Star
Golden
Wars
Abyss.
Zero. What?
Well, I don't know what Tim was saying. I was saying Uncharted Golden Abyss, but Tim, what were you saying?
Star Fox Zero.
Star
Force
Fox
motion
Zero. Oh
controls were
god,
it.
yeah, that's right.
Ooh.
Star Fox Zero is a game that will die on the Wii U because not only because it's bad, but because it literally can't be moved to any other console because no other console has
can't.
2 screens to work with.
Anyways.
All right. Tim, tell me something you want to come back.
Dude, like I've been playing a lot of old retro games lately, and it's just like I want cheat codes again. I want like big head mode and like ridiculous cheat codes.
Donut
Like I want to be a
right?
flying car or something.
Even just
Like-
going as far as like normal unlockables, like
Yeah.
doing things, just getting like unlockable characters instead of being like pay money and get this or beat the game and you get this character. Like, no, motherfucker, I need to kill some guy in under this amount of time on the ultimate difficulty with like a baseball bat, and then I get the cool character. Like, I need a challenge.
Exactly. Like I'm totally with you. Unlockables and like the Grand Theft Auto games, cheats in specific. The Grand Theft Auto games
cheats are like
were so fucking awesome with cheats.
necessary. My cat.
And I mean, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't think had a ton of cheats. I
don't
remember
think it
even
had
being
any.
slightly disappointed in Grand Theft Auto 4's cheats because Grand Theft Auto like 3, Vice City, and San Andreas had so many cheats. And it
Yeah,
was
didn't
so
4
awesome.
you couldn't even like spawn a tank.
4, I remember spawning like the Apache helicopter all the time, but
You couldn't spawn a rhino tank.
yeah,
Not like in San Andreas where you could spawn the rhino tank, turn the turret behind you, and fire as you went down the highway, and you'd get up to like Mach speed, and the cars would just be like bing, 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 out of your way.
And they're just like they're just flying off like you're the fucking like you're a train hitting a bunch of fucking cattle as knocking them off. But that one, oh man. And Donut Drake was a really cool cheat in Uncharted. Cheats would be awesome. I would love. And I mean there were a lot of things like game content wise. Tim, I know that you're like you really loved Rogue Squadron.
Yep.
And so, like, thinking back to Rogue Squadron, there were huge parts of the game that you just couldn't get without cheats. Like the
Yeah.
Naboo Starfighter. Like,
That was actually exclusively available through a cheat that they released before the movie came out.
exactly.
Like that was the only way you could even unlock it. And then probably my favorite cheat in that game is actually a nod to Empire Strikes Back, which unlocks all the levels, but the cheat's called Dead Dak.
oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's
So it's
pretty
like,
dark.
oh, well, all right.
That's,
I mean, then you got the unlimited cheat, I Give Up, Tied Up, which gave you the TIE Interceptor, Farm Boy, which gave you the Millennium Falcon right off the bat. Absolutely, like, a bunch of different cheats that just infinitely expanded your gameplay.
I mean, even like, God, did you guys ever play like Bounty Hunter?
oh, I
Yep.
loved Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. Bounty Hunter, when they made the remake of it on PS4, or not the remake, but like
Just
re-release,
re-release.
They ported it
that
to
has
PS4.
cheats in it still.
Yep.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
So you
Fun
bought
stuff. Oh yeah, I love that game. That
that? I
game
got
is
it
so
love that
good.
game too.
Especially when it's like really fresh and new on like this console on like a good television where I could the first time I played the game, I had it on a television where we had lost the remote and the brightness was turned way down. So that game was like pitch fucking black in some areas, and I
That
had
is
no
a
idea
dark
what the fuck
game.
was
Like,
happening.
that's
Yeah,
a
I had
dark
no
game.
clue what was happening, and so
I
playing
can
the
just
game
imagine,
again,
like,
I was
little
like,
Andrew
wow, I'm
just
like
frustrated.
really, I'm having a good time with this. I can like fly around. I'm like, I feel fucking invincible. And then if you wanted to, you could literally put cheats on and play the invincibility with like rocket pistols that would just be like shooting missiles at people.
Sometimes you need to, because in that fucking Prison Break level, that shit is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
God.
that level.
But-
with
Fuck
dudes on
military.
fucking turrets everywhere. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
That shit is fucking hard.
I played
Um,
the whole game without cheats.
Did you? Oh, there you go.
I
every level all the way through, just because I was like, I just really wanted to.
Andrew, did you buy that one individually, or did you get the Star Wars pack?
I bought it by itself.
Oh, see, I actually got that one before it was available by itself. Because remember there was the Darth Vader special edition Star Wars or special edition PS4, and it was like, so there was that one. Wait, you had it?
I have it.
You have the Darth Vader one?
I do.
I didn't know that. But so there was that special edition, and it had the. Oh no shit! I did not know that Tim had that. He's showing it to us right now for all you audio listeners, which is literally everyone listening to this. But
it's beautiful.
So Tim, I didn't know you had that, but that actually came with a code for a bundle of Star Wars games, and I really wanted the Star Wars games because I really wanted Bounty Hunter, and they weren't available a la carte yet.
Well, you can download it on
months.
PS4.
But
from me.
I went on like some super sketchy code website, and I paid $15 and I bought a code for the Star Wars bundle pack, and I had all those games before they were available a la carte because and someone probably stole my credit card number because that site was so sketchy. But yeah,
shout out to G2A.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Tim. I think that bring back some cheat codes. But in the spirit of Star Wars, something I would like to see make a comeback is single player Star Wars games.
Yeah.
All right.
Rogue Squad or like Rogue Trooper. What was that game called?
Rebel Commando.
Yeah,
Republic
Rebel Commando. Outcast.
Yep, Jedi Outcast.
God, I would love another Jedi Academy game.
I want another Rogue Squadron game.
I would cream my pants for Rogue Squadron 4.
Yeah, and I even have a PlayStation 4 like flight stick too. That would make that game even better.
You got that for Elite Dangerous, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I still play Elite Dangerous a little bit.
So good.
Well, I'm just waiting for them to put flight stick controls on No Man's Sky.
Oh man, that would be really cool. But so supposedly Jedi Fallen Order is going to be coming out this year in the lead up to Episode 9. God, that feels weird that Episode 9 is coming out this year.
It's going to be so bad.
It's going to be real bad. But so supposedly that game is coming out this year. Why just stop at 1? Why not give us more? Like, give us fucking Rogue Squadron 4. And you know what? Double down on that shit and make it a fucking Switch exclusive.
Didn't EA announce something this week that they were making a couple new Star Wars games?
They said that they're still committed to making Star Wars games. Like basically they came out and said we haven't given up on Star Wars games even though we know that we suck at it. Was the sentiment of their message.
Yeah.
Because
even though we suck at it.
They do suck
like, yeah, you
it.
do. You fucking took something so beautiful and you made it
so pure.
so ugly.
Yeah.
Like, give it back.
Exactly. I mean, it's time for them to willingly give it up or for Disney to take it back, regardless of the, like, just eat the cost.
You guys don't know what you're doing and you just, it's terrible.
I would not be surprised if Disney yanks the license after their next game if it absolutely fails terribly like the last two have.
But it's not going to because the next game is going to be Fallen Order, and that's Vince Zampella, baby. And that game is going to be awesome.
We hope.
Vince Zampella, guys.
Well,
Modern Warfare 4, Titanfall 2.
It still has EA attached to it. I'm sorry. I can't get away from it.
Vince Zampella,
a beautiful piece of work.
Vince Zampella did Titanfall 2.
Giant steamy pile of duty.
And EA was attached to that.
That's true. That made me cry.
And Titanfall 2
I mean, they
good.
do have rare gems. Mirror's Edge. I think Mirror's Edge is a fantastic game.
Mirror's Edge 1.
No, the second one's fucking awesome. What are you talking about?
You're the only person in the world that would say
really?
that.
I loved the second one. I thought it was fucking awesome. Like,
I haven't played either.
Open world and everything. I loved that. I was super into that. But yeah.
No, you're the only person that would say that. So if you guys could pick one Star Wars game to bring back, what would it be, and what would you want to play it on?
Rogue Squadron and any system, honestly.
Interesting.
Rebel Commando and PS4
Republic Commando.
Commando.
Yeah.
Like, or Jedi Academy. I thought Jedi, like, I love that, like,
Jedi Academy.
30%, like,
We actually
force powers and, like, becoming good in. I love Jedi Academy. It's, like, my favorite game
Is it too
ever.
late to change my answer?
no.
Kind of want a new pod racer now that I think about it.
Oh, except the second pod racing game sucked.
Yeah, it did.
I have it, Andrew. I actually have it on PS4. You can download it.
So do I.
Pod Racer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think
Racer
I've
2.
ever played it.
Like
Star
some Bulba's
Wars
Revenge,
Racer
I think it's
Revenge.
called.
It's Racer Revenge.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that game sucks. But you can download it, Andrew.
Ooh. Well, you can download Bounty Hunter.
I
Want to
already
play
own
that?
Bounty Hunter, baby.
Well,
It
alright.
came in
Well,
my
you should
Star
play it
Wars pack.
anyways.
Yeah. I would want Rogue Squadron 4, and I would want it exclusively on the Switch. Because Rogue Squadron was exclusively on the 64, and then 2 and 3 were exclusive to GameCube.
You know what I would like to see?
What?
Shadow of the Empire.
Ooh, Shadows of the Empire was
The
actually...
N64 game. I love that game.
Going back to that game, it's pretty bad. Like, that game has
yeah.
aged horribly.
I don't know. I've played it like in the last 5 years, and like I still
Really?
think the first level, flying around on Hoth and like taking down all the AT-ATs,
Oh, yeah, that
that
was
shit's
awesome.
still fucking fun. Like, I love doing that.
That was
That
awesome.
game was great up until the Boba Fett fight, when it really just ramped up the difficulty way too much.
Oh, I thought the
Yeah.
second level where you're exploring the base on Hoth is when they ramped up the difficulty. I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. Also, I'm 7. So
Oh, I loved that game. I remember getting all the way to like the sewer level. There's some sewer level where you encounter a lot of those creatures that are like in the trash compactor. And at the very end, you encounter like a mega one. And I remember going in the room and the water fills all the way to the ceiling, and I saw it and it roared, and I freaked out and just turned the N64 off and like pulled the game out. And was like, nope, never playing it again.
wouldn't that be quite the announcement though? Wouldn't it? Like that would literally be a huge surprise if at E3 like EA comes out and announces Shadow of the Empire 2. Like, hey, you know this like N64 launch title that like
From back in the day.
a handful
No
of
one
people
remembers.
played and
Hey,
Yeah.
millennials, you remember this?
exactly. That would I would actually, Andrew, I think you're right. I would get real psyched on that announcement. I
I
would
would
be
love
pumped
that.
about that.
That'd be fucking fun. I loved that game. Like, that was like one of the first third-person, over-the-shoulder-ish like shooter games I think I'd ever played. Where the faster you could click that button, the faster those lasers came out.
Yeah.
So you just be like,
I thought that game, most of that game was first person though.
you could play in first person.
Oh, you could
Yep.
play that game third person?
Yes,
Oh
you
wow.
could.
Yeah,
That probably
didn't
would have
even
made
know-
it better for me.
I didn't really know you could play it in first person. In third person, yeah,
I didn't know
played
you
like,
could play it in
like the
third
whole
person.
game in third person.
You could switch. It was great for certain parts. Like platforming, I always did in third person, but when it came to combat, switched to first person automatically.
Oh, nice. All right, Tim, tell me, or wait, we're going back to Andrew. Andrew, tell me what you want.
I know it's a dead desire, but split screen.
Split screen.
Why? Why can't we just have a little bit? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
It's just
It's not
the
that
best.
hard. Like, it can't be that difficult. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, there's so many games where you think, man, this is like a ton of fun. I'm gonna go right back to it. Subnautica. I know the game doesn't have it because it's like a thing, but it's like just games like that. It's like the game's not graphically intensive. Like, why? What's stopping you from just like adding a split screen feature or like a plethora of like games where they require only online play? Why not do split screen or do like Smash does? Not split screen, but just all the characters are on screen at the same time together in one
Couch
video.
multiplayer, local
Couch,
multiplayer.
just couch co-op. Like I miss couch co-op with friends. Like, God, sitting and playing Way Out with
God,
Mike.
that was so awesome.
I was like, I hadn't gotten to sit and like play a couch co-op game with somebody and like laugh, smoke some weed, have a beer, like play a game together. Like I was like, damn, I feel like I'm 12 again.
Exactly. I'm totally with you. Like that was just bring it back. Like, and I get it, you know, Halo 5 tied the physics engine to the frame rate, which is why they couldn't do it, because they couldn't render it twice.
So dumb.
It was such a dumb move. But we might end up talking about that next week. But Halo Infinite, so 343 and Microsoft have announced that Halo Infinite will have split screen.
Thank God.
Which I'm so psyched about that. So I'm really glad that Halo is going back in that direction. But like,
their last one didn't have it. Like, my God.
I know.
It's
like,
so this is like
staple
your
for the
weird
entire
incestual
series.
bastard child. Like, this isn't a Halo game. You get that lie out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the redheaded stepchild of the series.
Halo 5 sucks. But it's, I don't know. I think that in a way, online gaming, not only did it kill local multiplayer, but like it killed that experience of like going to your friend's house and like as a kid
whooping their ass in person.
And because you know what? And I'm not real familiar with like what kids are doing these days, but like somehow I don't think that they're going over to each other's houses the way we used to when we were their age. Like when we were
all
10,
like this.
No, they're all Fortnite dancing.
Exactly. They're sitting around with microphones in front of their mouths. And they're not interacting. They're not like punching each other when they lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever happened to like getting defeated in Mario Kart and just dead arming your friend as hard as you could?
Yeah. I mean, I remember Halo Combat Evolved. My sister and like I had these two friends that were brothers, and Chris and Drew. And Chris and I made a great team because we worked together. And we were both, I would say, of like between Chris, Drew, my sister, and I, Chris and I were numbers 3 and 4 as far as like Halo skill. But if you paired us up, we worked together, and we could always beat Mary and Drew. Always. To the point we would play Hang 'em High, and we would win. They would shout rematch, and we would win again. They would shout rematch, and we would win again. And this would go on for, I kid you not, 20 games straight. And they would not win a single one. And so it's like, but it's like, where did this, to the point that one time, like we had won so many in a row, Drew just spiked his controller and jumped over me and Mary and landed on Chris and just started punching him. And it's like, where did that go? That's not happening anymore.
Or even it's like I had a similar moment where I went and my buddy bought the Xbox and bought Halo Combat Evolved. And we went home, and his older brother, he played against us, me and Tim, and we would play, me and Timothy, and we would play together. And we would be on a team. We didn't work together. We tried, but his brother was way better at the game. We would play Blood Gulch, and we would both get on like ghosts and shit, and we'd be like flying, like we would go up to his base, and both of us would be like counterclockwise, like rotating, just firing endlessly, and he would just like poke out for a second and just snipe one of us, and then it would just be a game of like who could get back as fast as they could before he killed the other one.
You gotta haul ass.
And then his littlest brother, who was like 4, we would give him a controller, quote unquote, and it wasn't plugged in, and we would just tell him he was one of the screens, and bless his little tiny heart, believed us.
There you go.
Well, he's 4, of course he's gonna.
It's the magic of local multiplayer. The kid doesn't know which screen they're looking at. So there was another time that I was playing Combat Evolved with the same group, and like Chris just could not beat me this day. We were playing free for all. Chris just could not beat me this day. And to the point he just got mad. He dropped his controller, threw me in a headlock. And I'm just like, he was a much bigger kid than I was, and he was 4 years older than me. And he's got me in this headlock, and he's choking me out. And I'm like 12 being choked out by a 16-year-old. And I just look for the first thing I can grab, and it's this bowl that like he had just eaten cereal out of. And I just grabbed it and I looked for the first thing that was him that I saw, and it was his foot. And I just swung this bowl and I just smashed it on his foot. And then his foot starts bleeding. And then it became this whole thing. And it was and it was like this hilarious
physical violence caused by video games.
Exactly.
I love physical altercations.
And so, do I want this to come back? Hell yeah, I want this to
Hell
come
yeah.
back in 2019.
You just want to beat the shit out of people. I feel like that's all it comes down to.
I really love.
It's about asserting your digital dominance over
That's
someone
right.
in their face.
Because you can't just whip out your dick and just drop it on the table in front
It's
of.
just not the same messaging.
What do you mean you
someone
can't?
calling them a little bitch? Like
Not in front of. Not when you're online in Fortnite. You can't just whip out your dick and drop it on the table and say, "Look at it, bitch."
I mean, you can, but typically you'll get a report.
You'll get banned. They'll log off. But all right, Tim, tell me what else you want to see come back.
I really, really want to see another Banjo-Kazooie. I know I said it last week.
Yeah.
But I need Banjo 3. I really do. After playing it this past week, it's just like, yeah.
But do you not think that that's what Battletoads is going to be? I think Battletoads is going to be a 3D platformer.
I don't. It's always been a beat 'em up. I don't see it becoming a 3D platformer. I really don't.
Yeah. It's always been a beat 'em up until that one level where you have to ride the jet skis through the sewer.
Fair enough.
And then no one can do it.
Like 2 people in the world can do it.
Banjo 3E.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tim. That's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. I know. My dreams
And-
have been crushed before they began.
They alluded to it in the end of Nuts and Bolts, right?
They alluded to it in Nuts and Bolts. They alluded to it in Banjo-Tooie. It's never happening. Rare is a dead company, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad.
Maybe we'll play some Sea of
They
Thieves
made
this
Donkey
week.
Kong 64.
That was not a good game, but they did make Donkey Kong Country 1 through 3, and those were great games.
Donkey Kong 64 is an amazing game.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know what Patrick's talking about. I really don't.
I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan. You guys both know this about me. And I believe that
That
Rare
game is amazing.
I believe that Rare made what is the closest a video game has ever been to perfect that has ever been. But Donkey Kong 64 is not a good game.
Someone's cooking cookies in my house.
Oh, nice. All right. So we're gonna power through these last ones because we've only got a few more left. I want to see Call of Duty campaigns come back. Those have always been have always been the main draw.
Like
of
first
Call of
person,
Duty.
or single stories. Yeah.
Those were the draw of Call of Duty.
I
for
was
me.
shocked.
I was
that
too.
Black Ops 4 didn't have any story mode at all.
Especially
And
since
they're like, the
Black
story
Ops-
mode is the training mode. I'm like, fuck you.
That's
Are
a
you
great.
kidding
That's
me?
a perfect. Fuck you to that.
Fuck you.
That's
Like, are you
actually
kidding
why
me?
I didn't buy the game. Because it didn't have a campaign. I love the Call of Duty campaigns. It's all I really play of Call of Duty, to be honest.
It's all I play.
Yeah,
Call
they're
of Duty
fun. They have like such a great story. Like, God, Modern Warfare 1 was like one of the best
Modern
Call of
Warfare
Duties.
1 was so good. And like the most
Like,
recent one,
so
World War,
intense.
the most recent one, World War II, was great. Like really, I mean, one of the best. And
I
then
never
just-
played it. I should download it. And
You
play
should.
It.
It's really good.
I need to play that one, but I can't get past the flipping trains.
Oh yeah, the train level at the beginning is really dumb. Be prepared for that, Andrew. After that, it's really good. And
I think
before
it was-
that, it's really good. But yeah, the train level is really dumb.
I mean, continuing on that similar, my final one is kind of continuing along that similar line of like just wanting to see a certain kind of thing come back.
Let's hear it.
So I know The Last Guardian came out pretty recently,
A couple years ago.
and the Team Eco
Yes.
that made Ico, however you pronounce
Eco.
it, Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian. I want to see them make another game because they are hands down one of my all-time favorite studios because they make these beautiful games that have no words. There's no one ever talks. It's just like this.
Aggro.
Except for that.
Oh god, that was so
I would love
sad.
to see a new Shadow of the Colossus. Out of all three of them, I thought Shadow of the Colossus is like one of the most truly epic.
Shadow of the
games.
Colossus is art. Like
Is art. It's a beautiful. There's no talking. There's just this beautiful soundtrack and like sort of solemn sereneness to the game. And then you encounter a mountain that comes to life, and you have to just kill it somehow. All through just slowly watching this thing walk around and like attempt to like step on. Like, I miss that game so much, and I would love another one.
You played the remake, right?
No, but I've played the old one like 4 or 5 times.
I'm telling you, you should play the remake because
Get the remake.
It is enchanting. It's
absolutely
so
beautiful.
good.
Like I would love to play it again because that's another game that actually has cheat codes, or not cheat codes, but if you do certain things,
Unlockables.
it has unlockables. You can get like a parachute.
You
basically
can climb to the top of that building and get to the garden.
The sword that you get in the very end of Eco, that's like this light sword, and if you get that, it kills any Colossus in one hit, one stab. I think you have to kill all of them in a 24-hour, like a real 24-hour period. So you have to like beat the game in a single day. Something like that, you get it, or you can get like bomb arrows and stuff like that. So you can shoot these arrows, it'll just be like, and then like stumble back and stuff, like as if you like. I remember playing that and just absolutely, I loved getting that stuff and like climbing all the way to the top of the tower. And there's a secret at the very top of the tower.
Andrew, I'm telling you, if you want to go back to that game, you have to buy the remake. The remake was so good.
Yeah, I probably will. It's so worth it. That
Especially
game is
on PS4 Pro.
So many, every single one of those creatures is like so iconic. And my most favorite one, that's probably one of the most like poster child ones, is the one with the gigantic like bridge for an arm, who lives on top of basically like a giant disc in the middle of a lake, and he like slams it down,
yeah.
basically like sprint up it as fast as you can and then start to like climb up his arms.
That one did so good for like a sense of scale, to make you feel
because you'd
tiny.
run away from him and be like, I don't know how to fucking get to him, and then he would just like,
God, that was such a cool game.
Bring this like huge fucking thing, and you'd be like, holy shit, I'm like a mile away, and then it would hit the ground like feet behind you, and you'd be like, oh my fucking god. Like,
one of my favorites was the one in the desert that would like come out of the sand, and it was like the snake that would fly, and you would have to like jump onto its wing,
like air sacs to get it to come down to the ground and dip its wing in the sand. Or the really creepy one in the cave that like chases you on the horse, and he like comes out of the wall.
And you see his eyes.
You have to turn around and poke him in the eyes.
You gotta buy that remake.
It's like,
that
was a game that felt kind of like Zelda. Like all of the bosses had this specific puzzle to them that gave them this like sequence that you had to do that made them so fucking good. Like, oh my god. And the giant like electric eel in the lake, and like all the flying ones, like, oh my god.
I think one of the best parts of that game is that that's all there is just boss fights.
And I remember that game, even as a kid, I remember beating it and the whole epic finale happening, and I remember like putting it down as the credits ran, and as like I couldn't have been more than like 12 or something, and I was like, that was like one of the first times that I remember like sitting back and going, wow, like that was that's like an art. That was art. That was like a absolutely amazing game. And I would beat like 3 of the monsters a day, something like that. So it took me like a week and a half or something to beat it. And I remember even like running upstairs to my mom afterward, and I would like tell her about stuff. I'd be like, oh my god, like this epic stuff would happen like this, and just being like, this game, it's like it's a masterpiece. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. It's like this wordless story. And
that game is on the very short list of like games that when people tell me that video games aren't art, it's like that is one of the first ones that I go to. It's like that and Owlboy and Donkey Kong Country 2, and probably like BioShock Infinite, or maybe The Last of Us, because those games all just capture you so quickly.
The Last of Us, I would recommend that to anyone. I'd be like, if you think video games are stupid, play the
first
intro,
20 minutes. Just play the first 20 minutes.
And
tell
if
me
you're
you're
not crying, you're a fucking psychopath.
Exactly.
I guess I'm a fucking psychopath then.
Oh, fuck off, Tim.
Oh God, I was bawling my goddamn eyes out.
Oh, I was too.
All 3 times I've played the game, even expecting it, I'm like, so sad.
Yeah.
I still stand on the premise that that game was not as good as people say.
Blasphemy!
We're all entitled to an opinion. It's just Tim's is wrong. Tim, tell me what else you want to see come back in 2019.
The death of Last of Us? No.
Just Last of Us 2 canceled.
Yep, that's all I want to see.
I would actually
no,
that.
I want another F-Zero game. I need another F-Zero game.
Ooh.
Because it's been, what, F-Zero GX on the
GameCube
was the last one that we got?
GX didn't sell well, that's why.
Yeah, well, people are asking for it. I'm asking for it. I want it.
I never played any of the F-Zero games. Like, is it sort of like Burnout? Or not, Wipeout?
It's very, very much like Wipeout.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fast-paced racing.
Fast-paced racing action. Your ship has a shield meter. It's way better than Wipeout. Patrick, I will come back there and slap the shit out of you.
I like Wipeout better. But Tim, I'm with you. I would love to see, and you know what? I say, oh yeah, well, GX didn't sell well, but like historically, Metroid has never sold really well. But a couple years ago, it was like the year of Metroid coming back, and we got Return of Samus, and then we also got the announcement for Prime 4, all in the same conference. Like, it's got to be time for F-Zero. I'm with you, Tim.
Yep. And on that Samus thing, please give us Prime 4. At least something.
as long as that's out there. I mean, we're gonna. As long as someone said Prime 4, we're gonna talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm with you, Tim. I actually really do enjoy F-Zero. I really liked particularly the original. The reason that I say I like Wipeout better is because Wipeout on PSVR was amazing. Oh, Tim,
that sounds vomit-inducing.
It is so crazy. Oh, nice, Tim. I loved F-Zero on Super Nintendo. That game was so sweet. And it felt so futuristic. And, you know what? Come at me. A better racer than Super Mario Kart.
With a better soundtrack, even.
Oh, a way better soundtrack.
CTR beats all of them.
Well, we'll be getting that. That's something that will make it.
Hell yeah!
I'm
super
If you're gonna bring CTR into it, bring Sonic R into it too.
Sonic, give me a break. For some reason, they're all driving in cars, even though they can run so fast.
I'm talking about Sonic R, the one where they are running.
Oh,
for Saturn?
I didn't know that. Oh, Sonic for Saturn. Get the fuck out of here, Tim.
Look it up.
No one else played a Saturn.
It's god awful.
Oh, God.
I will get to that. It is god awful. Just look at like one of the first few tracks. It's terrible.
Oh my God.
That being said, some of the soundtrack is okay. Everything else about it is no.
Running for a running racing game. How stupid.
You know what I would love to see? Oh God, PS2 Kinetica. Did you ever play Kinetica?
I
guess
never
they did.
Heard of that.
It's people, and they're in like these suits where they have wheels on their hands and feet, and they put them together to basically turn like cars, and then you can go off of jumps and do like crazy fucking tricks.
Wasn't
and
that in like a movie?
And, like, no, but they did release a re-release of it. That's like shiny, I guess. But I would love to. That was like one of the fucking coolest games for PS2, and had a really cool soundtrack that was like really fucking like techno-y and futuristic, like retro future techno.
Kinetica. All right.
I'll have to take a look. I've never heard of it.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, Kinetica.
Sounds like a goofy ass old school game that Tim would love.
Probably.
That's kind of your
That's
wheelhouse,
why I'm
Tim.
looking it up. That's why I'm looking it up.
All right, so
yeah, Connecticut.
my last thing that I would love to see make a return. Oh, yep, that game looks as stupid as you made it sound.
You bastard.
There's a version for PS4.
What?
Yeah, there's a re-release for PS4.
All right, so the last thing that I would love to see make a comeback in 2019 is a PlayStation handheld.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm totally buying that after this.
All right, we're talking about a PlayStation handheld right now. Okay, so we haven't seen a new PlayStation handheld since 2011 with the PS Vita. It was the second gen PlayStation handheld, and well, it didn't sell real well. I don't know if you guys have heard, but pretty much nobody bought it except me and Ben, and we each bought 2.
Oh my god, there were 5 sold.
I know, right? But the PSP was such an amazing console. Like, I legitimately prefer the PSP to the DS. And I would love to see like how Sony attacks that in 2019. I feel like you two are just so distracted with Connecticut right now.
Kind of.
Now my cat's just being really weird and giving me this weird like side look, like, you gonna fucking feed me after this? Like,
Yes, cat. I am.
yes, I am. It's like giving me this weird like side look, like, the fuck are you looking at? Kind of thing. Sorry, what were you saying?
Did you guys own a PSP?
No.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah. PSP 1000. I loved PSP. And
Remember
I would
having
love to see
Untold Legends, I think, was like the very first game I had on it. Which was like,
Gauntlet Legends.
no, I think it was called Untold Legends. It was sort of like Diablo.
Oh, yeah. I
But it was
always forget
like,
what that
like
game
a
was told.
dumpy Diablo, but it was
good.
good. Yeah, I played that
Yeah.
game many times.
That was so I didn't buy that one myself. The game I bought when I bought my PSP was Tony Hawk's Underground 2 Remix. And to this day, I think that is probably the single handheld game that I've played the most. Even after putting 160 hours into Breath of the Wild. I played
Daxter on that motherfucker.
Daxter was so good. Like,
That
the
was a great
PSP
game.
was such a great console. I would love to see
They had another Jack and Daxter, like Aerial Frontier or
the
something.
Last
where you-
Frontier or the Lost
Last
Frontier.
Yeah, where you play in these like planes.
And it wasn't great, but
I enjoyed
It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was sort of like Jack 3, but it was just with planes.
Yeah, I played.
And
it
I
on
was like,
PS2,
it's fine. I'm into it.
but
Like,
it was all right.
and that's the thing about the PSP is it was so good that they had a bunch of games that originally came out on PSP that were ported to the PS2 because it was like these games, these are console quality games, and they were ported to the PS2. So we got Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, like 2 fantastic Grand Theft Auto games on there. Chinatown Wars was on PSP eventually, I think. But
I would love that. I do think a PS Vita, like a new PS Vita, would be pretty cool. Just to be able to, if I could pick up Subnautica and then go to work and play Subnautica.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I was very much a believer that the way that they should have made the PS Vita work was if you were like, make it part of the like license, make it part of the approval process for PS4 is like, even if it's download only, make a PS Vita version, and then so that you can play it locally, like a kind of trimmed down PS Vita version of the game, and then so you can pick it up, download your cloud save, very much like what Borderlands 2 was, and then you can play like the big kid version on the PS4 or on the PS5, and like kind of the pared down version on the handheld, and take it with you, and have them both running locally on the actual hardware that you have in front of you, because that's where the PS Vita really failed, was the relying on the internet connection for remote play just didn't work. So,
Truth.
anyways, we are going to wrap up with what we will be playing this week. Andrew, tell me what you're going to be playing this week.
Well, with my trend of playing Subnautica, I actually am very curious about getting The Forest.
Ooh, me too.
Which is that's pretty good.
I remember seeing that again on Steam way back when it first was announced. And I thought, oh, that sounds cool, but I wouldn't really want to buy it. But that's a game that's another like creepy survival game that is apparently really fucking creepy. Like having these like cannibal people hunting you all the time and like trying to...
Nathan and I were talking about The Forest back in 2014, and it finally came out. And I texted Nathan like a few days after it came out, and I was like, "Yo, did you know The Forest finally came out on PS4?" And he was like, "What?" And I think
is it multiplayer?
Yeah,
it is multiplayer. God,
maybe we'll split that one, Andrew.
I would play that with you guys.
Maybe you and I'll go 2/3, 1/3 on that.
I would love to do that.
All right,
but probably more Subnautica.
Probably more Subnautica. Tim, tell me what you're going to be playing this week.
Well, obviously, I'm going to be playing Kinetica now.
Kinetica.
Thank you, Andrew.
Because you just bought Kinetica.
Yep. There's so many cool characters. There's even dudes that are like big truck guys, and they just like you can just punch people as you go by them. They just sit in like giant truck wheels and just roll along like, and you can just like hit people.
Okay, Tim, I have a homework assignment for you this week. Then I want you to capture Kinetica and do a quick video review for us of Kinetica.
Because see what I can do.
This sounds so stupid. I'm going to be playing Blackout this weekend, sounds like, with Andrew. And Andrew, sounds like we might be playing some Forest this weekend.
Yeah. We should buy that like
time.
Right
I'll
now.
play Forest if I can get that too.
All right. And that's all we've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe on whatever service you found us on. And don't forget to check out our movies podcast on, it's called No Refunds, the podcast that watches bad movies so you don't have to. You can find everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com. We'll be back next week talking about the biggest missteps in gaming history. Reset.
John Reset. Oh man, I probably shouldn't have started doing this, but I started just tearing off all the rubber on my light case.
That was pretty stupid.
It already broke, so it's time to go anyway. But the problem is, the guy put it on for me in the store when I bought it, and he didn't give me the tool to take it back off. So my phone is entombed in a fucking life-proof case.